I've slowly been going through the new 2024 version of the Player's Handbook, D&D 5.5 or 5.24 or whatever we're supposed to call it. It's been quite a mixed bag for me. Some things are improved. Some things are more practical and more organized. Some of the underpowered options from 2014 have received a much needed strengthening. But other things are worse, or they've just been tampered with unnecessarily, or they've been made frustrating or nonsensical. These good plus bad issues really are all over the board, from class features to feats to spells to races, which are now called species. When I got to the character origins section of the book, I discovered there is no half-elf nor half-orc. What in the world is going on? I checked the creating a character section at the beginning of the book, and there was no mention of this change there either. So then I turned to the internet, Google, Reddit, ChatGPT, any kind of online source that I could find. None of it was particularly helpful. Lots of suggestions, speculations, opinions, hearsay, but nothing really in terms of actual official sources giving a definitive word on why it is that suddenly, after 50 years of D&D, one of the core races has disappeared. And it just so happens to be my favorite character race. The half-elf is the race that I most identify with. I've always been a person of two worlds in one, you could say. One side of me is practical. I like things to be organized, categorized, analyzed, studied. I like to meet people where they are. I like to be grounded and down to earth. Then the other side of me is creative and spiritual. Inspiration is the lifeblood that keeps me going. Creation is a necessary part of my existence, just like eating or sleeping. Dreams and hopes, wishes and imagination, these are major aspects of my being. I'm a writer, a poet, a storyteller, a world builder, a lore keeper, an artist, a romantic, a seeker, an adventurer, an experimenter. These are also the same reasons why I relate so much to the bard, and I mean the classic bard, not the goofy minstrel abomination that modern D&D has concocted. In many ways, I can relate to lots of other people, and at the same time, it's extremely rare that I meet someone who reminds me of myself, who seems to truly relate to who I am. Also, I have a multicultural family, and I speak two languages at home. My wife is Brazilian. We have lots of Brazilian family and friends, both locally and abroad, and we spend time in Brazil when we can. Our daily life is like a 50-50 mixture of English and Portuguese, and I passionately pursue both languages. Foi surpresa para você, eu imagino. So there's very much this two worlds in one aspect to my life in a cultural regard. And each culture has its own spirit, its own perspective on life, and I'm constantly blending them together. And now the half-elf has been just removed, eliminated. No one really knows for sure because Wizards of the Coast has made no official statement nor included anything at all about half-elves, half-orcs, or mixed ancestry creatures of any kind in the current Player's Handbook. My expectation is that I would be disappointed with Wizards of the Coast, but I've been so disappointed with them for so long now that this discovery actually just strikes me as, yeah, that figures. In fact, what this issue has caused me to do is to reflect. Should I continue to keep blending two worlds? That's essentially what I do with RPGs. I connect with real people in a practical way. Human, in order to explore a world of wonder and imagination. Elf, the real world combines with the fantasy world. But maybe I should be doing things differently. Maybe for my human side, I should have a YouTube channel that addresses my real-world passions, things like personal development, psychology, philosophy, religion, relationships, and finding solutions to personal problems. I could help a very broad audience with facing their fears and overcoming challenges and progressing along their life paths. And maybe for my elf side, I should be publishing novels, fantasy, thriller, sci-fi, literary fiction, and anthologies of short stories too. I could delve 100% into the styles that I want. This would free me up to express myself fully without the limitations I always struggle with due to D&D's rules and lore and aesthetics. Am I compromising my full potential by focusing too much on RPGs? I'm sure I'll always be connected to RPGs in some kind of way. No matter what happens, I'll always be creating RPG content of some kind. I can't imagine myself totally retiring from something that I'm so passionate about. But I have to wonder. I have to reflect and give some serious thought to this question. Do the human and the elf need to go their separate ways? Whatever happens, I'm glad that you all have been with me along all these journeys and for continuing to be companions of mine throughout all the many twists and turns. May your adventures be many, my friends. I'll see you in the next video sometime soon.